Have you ever found yourself swimming in a sea of stress or anger or grief or some other form of emotional chaos? If so, you're not alone, my friends. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about perception and the power of stepping back. And I want to start with a simple but powerful idea. We don't see things as they are. We see them as we are. Let that sink in for a moment. Hello and welcome to Meaningful Moments with May. And I am your hostess, May Caleb, and I'm honored and thrilled to have you join me on this journey of exploration and growth. In each episode, we'll delve into the ways that we can harmonize our lives with our environment, nurturing our creativity and aligning to our truest nature. Together, we'll uncover powerful insights, share transformative stories, and discover practical tools to enhance our everyday experiences. So whether you're seeking inspiration, personal development, or simply a moment of reflection, you're in the right place. So grab a cozy seat, open your hearts and minds, and let's embark on this meaningful adventure together. So let's briefly discuss or define what perception is. Every moment your brain is taking in a flood of information, processing that information, filtering it, labeling it, and assigning meaning to it and creating a story about it. And that story, that's what we call perception. And often these stories become our truth. But here's the catch. Perception isn't necessarily the truth. It's based on your interpretation of the truth. And that truth is shaped and molded by your upbringing. Then it's filtered by your beliefs and your past experiences, and it passes through this filter of your emotional state. And even the stories you've heard or told yourself for years. For example, you and I can walk into the same room, hear the same conversations, see the same expressions and movements, and come out of that room with two completely different experiences. And that's not a bug in the system. It's how we're wired. It's also the power and the trap of perception. So let's talk briefly for a minute about when perception becomes a trap. The danger comes when we forget that what we are perceiving is just one version of reality and not the reality. We often find ourselves caught in loops, thinking the same thoughts, seeing the same patterns, and expecting the same outcomes. If you've ever had that thought, why does this always happen to me? And I hear people say that a lot. And I want to put a little ping in this note here. It's energy. Everything is energy. If you've ever said, why does this always happen to me? You've experienced that loop. Your perception becomes your filter. Your filter shapes your behavior. And your behavior creates the outcome again and again. And when perception becomes a loop, here's what often happens. You have an experience, then you interpret that experience based on your lens of awareness in that moment. And that interpretation reinforces your belief. So for example, if you believe people can't be trusted, you'll find evidence for that belief, even if it means ignoring other evidence to the contrary. It becomes a self-fulfilling loop. Perception, response, same outcome, reinforced belief. I've had a lot of people say to me over the years, this always happens to me. Why does this always happen to me? And I try to help them shift their perspective. And instead of believing, because they go on about believing that bad things always happen to them, this crap always happens to me. I've heard it a gajillion times. And the truth of the matter is, life happens for everyone, through everyone, and we all have challenges. It's how we look at those challenges and how we decide to handle them. The one thing that I would like to say to you in this moment, just because it's a thought, is if you find yourself saying, why does this always happen to me? Instead of asking, why does this always happen to me? Start shifting your perspective and saying, good things always happen to me. I expect good things to happen to me. Look for the good in everything, and you'll soon see it. It's a perception. It's how we're viewing things based on, like I said earlier, the lens of awareness and the way that we our upbringing, our ideals, our values, our beliefs. If you believe that crap always happens to you, you're going to find evidence of crap always happening to you. So how do you stop the loop? By stepping back. That is the antidote, my friends. You step back. That's where everything shifts. You have the power to step back, to pause, to zoom out, to become the observer of your thoughts instead of being consumed by them. This moment of pause, this tiny space between stimulus and response, is exactly where your power lives. This is exactly what Viktor Frankl meant when he said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. So think of it like this. You're not the storm. You are the sky that holds it. You're not the reaction. You're the awareness that notices it. Stepping back gives you clarity. It helps you to observe your reactions instead of becoming them. We've all done that too, get all frazzled and in this tizzy. Before you know it, the whole day is gone. We've all experienced this. We have found ourselves in situations where we have said something we regret or reacted in a way that, we later regret. And this regret can lead to us to this point of feeling embarrassment, shame, and self-humiliation, and all those lower negative vibrating energies, right? And that self-loathing doesn't serve any of us. It doesn't help us grow. But what does help us grow is to become more aware of the power that we have. When you step back, even briefly, you break the loop. You stop being reactive and you start becoming responsive. That, my friends, is where clarity is born. That's where the wisdom emerges. So before we go any further, I would like to share some practical ways to apply the power of stepping back in your life. In conflict, before reacting or speaking, pause for a second and ask yourself, what else might be true here? Or what am I missing from the other person's perspective? Or how is the conflict mirroring some aspect of myself back to me? The lesson of the mirror can be a powerful teacher, but I'll save this topic for another podcast episode. In anxiety or stress, shift from saying, I am overwhelmed, I am stressed, or I am anxious, to I'm noticing feelings of anxiety, stress, or overwhelm. It takes some practice to notice what you're noticing, but this one powerful move can create a huge difference. In decision making, stepping back, you just step back, take a walk, take some deep breaths, journal, give space for clarity to find you. For answers to flow freely to you in reflection, try writing about your challenge in the third person. This distance alone often reveals new perspectives. The action of stepping back allows our ideas to flow, and I like to say, let go, create flow, or let go, let flow. It's like saying, let go, let God, right? So letting go is a powerful tool for personal growth. It's about releasing the need for control, the fear of the unknown, and the weight of past experiences. It's about accepting that you can't change the past or predict the future, but you can choose how you respond in the present moment. After all, the present moment is all that any of us truly have. So when you let go, you create space for new experiences, ideas, and relationships. You open yourself up to the flow of life. And this flow is not about passivity or indifference. It's about active engagement, adaptability, and acceptance. It's about moving with the currents of life rather than against them. Quit swimming upstream. I don't know if you've ever tried to do that, but I have. It's kind of like that. So right about now, you may be thinking, how can I cultivate this flow in my life? So I'm going to offer you a few suggestions. First, practice mindfulness. Be present in the moment. Observe your thoughts and feelings without judging yourself. That's really important. No judgment. Cultivate gratitude. Appreciate all the good in your life. There's always something to be grateful for. This one action alone can shift your focus from what's wrong to what's right, and also shift your energetic footprint. Expressing gratitude is such a powerful tool that I have dedicated an entire episode on it. More to come on that later. Embrace change. Life is a constant process of change. Embrace it as an opportunity for growth and learning. And I have said this a gajillion times in my life. I like to say change is good for me. This positive affirmation has helped me to embrace the changes in my life, both personally and professionally, the expected and the unexpected changes. One door closes, another one opens. It's the way I look at life. So practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Recognize that everyone makes mistakes and experiences setbacks. It's a part of the human experience. The journey towards creating more flow in your life, going with the flow, it's a personal one. Take it at your own pace and be patient with yourself. So as we get ready to power down, I'd like to share some final thoughts with you. If you don't get anything else out of our time here together, please remember this. Your perception isn't the final truth. It's a lens, and lenses can be changed, redirected, and refocused. When you realize your perception is not the whole picture, and when you develop the skill of stepping back, you begin to reclaim your power. Not to control everything, but to see clearly, to choose differently. The moment you step back, even briefly, you reclaim your agency. You stop reacting. You start choosing. And that's where real transformation happens. And you begin to live more authentically and in tune with your place in the world. So as you move through your week, ask yourself these questions. Where am I reacting from a fixed perception? Where can I step back even just for a moment and see the situation at hand through a new lens? And what one thing can I do this week to cultivate space for more flow in my life? Getting rid of all the anxiety and the stressors and all the things that we believe are going on based on our perceptions. It's a perception. Thank you for choosing to spend time with me today. I am truly grateful for this opportunity. And if today's episode gave you something to think about, feel free to share it with someone you care about. And be sure to subscribe and like the channel so you don't miss what's coming next. Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and remember, sometimes the most powerful move that you can make is to simply step back.